Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth, alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hi.
Today, we're doing another viewer mailbag. We're very excited, and it's coming out on Tuesday this week because Thursday you may have heard is Thanksgiving.
It's true.
And it is not going to be Thanksgiving movie themed. We thought about it, but then we realized that the only Thanksgiving movie that there is even a little bit worth talking about is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So the answer to every question would be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is in the discussion for the secretly best John Hughes movie.
Nice.
If you were going to talk about John Hughes, you would immediately say Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, but you'd also could say Vacation, You could also point out that he wrote Pretty in Pink, or that he wrote Home Alone, which Home Alone, for all the joking about it, is a sublime comedy. Like
Curly Sue. No,
I
no.
don't hate Curly Sue.
I confess I've never seen it, so I am forced to believe you.
And Dutch. I've seen pretty much everything John Hughes ever did except for Baby's Day Out. I took it really hard when John Hughes died. My brother once, we were decided that the difference between film snobs and normal people was, he said, here's the question. Who do you think is a better filmmaker? Or who would you rather watch, right? John Hughes movies or Robert Altman movies?
Wow.
Because Robert Altman is the genius of filmmakers of all times, like the savant, like genius auteur. And I was like, I would rather, if I had, I would watch John Hughes movies all day long. I would choose that unquestionably.
Yes.
But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a movie where he is able to bridge comedy with emotion. It's pretty much like Breakfast Club, but for adults. And it's the movie where so much of his stuff, they said he's so good at capturing what teenagers are about, and children, but he's so able to capture real adult stuff in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And John Candy gives is it his best performance as a person? I think it might be.
I think so. I can't think of a better one. And Steve Martin gives one of his best. It's so.
Everyone should watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Everyone.
And it's an 80s movie, so it ends with a freeze-frame shot of someone smiling, so you know that it's good. With the song, "Every time you go away, you take a piece of me with you."
There is a scene that's, viewers, again, we need a theme song. If you don't give us a theme song, what Phil just did is going to be our theme song. You don't want that to happen to us.
No.
There is a scene where Steve Martin is complaining, shall we say, about a rental car situation.
Oh my gosh! There's
literally no way for me to even talk about it, considering this is a family podcast. But it is maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and it's a perfect scene inside just to use your word, just a sublime movie. It's
Yeah.
John Hughes,
you
are missed.
I want to watch it right now. It's one of my favorite things. And that's a Thanksgiving movie. So there you go. Everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Watch that. Are we done now with our podcast?
Yeah, let's do...
Oh.
You're right. Oh. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. It's something completely different.
Whoa,
viewer mailbag.
That's a great idea.
But this one could be, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got family in town, and this is how you feel, maybe our first question can help you out of a tight spot. From our viewer, Kate. If you were stuck in your house for 3 days and the cable went out, what movies would you watch to keep yourself from going stir crazy?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is this our Kate?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Hi, Kate. That makes me so happy that she sent it. I'm so easy. I'm so happy that she sent us a thing. It's a good question, Kate. That's actually a fantastic question. The hardest thing I have with this, Andy, is my gut reaction is I would actually pick like television shows. And I know she said the cable was out, but I mean like DVDs of like if you said, Phil, you have 3 days and do whatever you want, like but you don't have cable and you can't get out of the house or whatever. It's like I would want to just like settle in with 3 seasons of The Sopranos or seasons of a show I haven't seen yet, and just plow through them. I love plowing through seasons of shows at a time.
Awesome. Awesome.
But that's not a real answer movie-wise. So go first while I stall and think.
Okay. My answer, I really don't think it's a cop out in any way, but I don't have one answer. I
Cop
have,
out.
I
Just
hate
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
you.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Um,
Go.
Pretty much any one of a number of Spielberg movies, and the reason is, in the question, I I I responded most strongly to the phrase "stuck in your house," and
Mm-hmm.
John Williams' music takes me away from wherever I
Oh,
am. I,
that's
I posted this on Facebook a few weeks ago, and it was funny because I'm a ridiculous human being, but it wasn't a lie.
you are.
The nah, I know myself. The menu music for the brand new ET Blu-ray actually brought me to tears. It is so beautiful and it is
Yeah.
so transporting that if I were stuck in a place that magically had nothing that I needed except for electricity to run my TV and Blu-ray player, that is, I would honestly, it makes me feel, John Williams' music makes me feel like the inmates in Shawshank Redemption when he plays the Mozart. And he says, for those few minutes, we were all free men. That is what it makes me
Oh,
feel like.
Andy, I want to hold you.
I want you to hold me.
Okay.
So there it is.
Here you go. Ready?
Please.
I'm assuming this means a couple things, your question, Kate. One thing I'm going to assume that you're suggesting that I can't get out of the house or I don't want to leave the house for those 3 days. Like it's a hurricane type situation or a snowpocalypse type situation, which I live in Southern California. This question does not apply to me any longer. It's 70 degrees outside and sunny.
Yeah, we all hate you. Go ahead.
Also, I had a burrito for lunch because it's Mexican food and I live in Southern California. It was delicious. There were French fries in the burrito. Anyways, let me just say this. There were. Oh,
I'm not
and,
disputing
and
your
it was
French
and it
fries.
was a California burrito, which means it had guacamole in it because they just put guacamole on something and then call it a California something, and I smile.
You're the
Now,
worst person
Kate,
I
to
know.
answer your
Please go
question,
ahead.
I'm assuming I can't leave the house, and I'm assuming or not much anyway, and the point is to stay in the house. And I'm assuming that my family's not around, which you didn't say, but there's no way that I'm actually going to get to watch 3 days of television with my daughter. So I'm just assuming that this is like this dream little land where I get to do what I want. Day one, Lord of the Rings extended edition, beginning to end. Okay.
Awesome.
And I'm also assuming I'm with people that I like. If I'm by myself, it would probably be a different list. I'm making a list of like me and Andy hanging out. Andy and I stuck in a room for 3 days. Day one would be Lord of the Rings. Okay.
By day
Day
three,
two,
it's Lord of the Flies. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
day two, I'm gonna say. Day two, I'm gonna say. Um, I'd like to pick a show with Andy that we could watch together that he's never seen before or
Mm,
hasn't seen in a long time. Like I would watch the whole first season of Deadwood with Andy,
nice.
or with someone I would watch the whole first or second season of Sopranos. I'm really interested in watching things in a row. So day three would probably be like a movie, like a Tarantino film festival, a zombie film festival, or frankly, if the daughter showed up at some point, like a Pixar film festival or something like that. I like watching things. I like to. I can't listen to one song. I have to listen to a whole album.
Yeah.
So I get into things like that. So for me, any sort of I would see 3 days as a chance to do a marathon. The only downside of what I just said though is I've seen all the things I just said. So I would also be interested in just literally finding 12 movies that I haven't seen and pick one from every genre or something like that, and then
Nice.
just knock it out. Because I like checking things off the list because somehow it makes me feel like a bigger man than
I
I
have
am.
accomplished something rather than just sat around on my butt watching movies for 3 days.
Right.
I think basically the operative answer for both of us in our own ways, we answered lots. That's the answer.
So many
Lots.
things.
What
So
movies
many
would you
things.
watch? Lots.
And Kate, if you're looking for answers, email us. I have so many suggestions. Oh my
Indeed.
gosh.
Indeed.
If you,
Um,
so I'm trying to find someone to watch The Sopranos with again. I want to start from the beginning and go all the way through the
I
six
support you.
seasons.
I support
So
you. Let's move on to our next question, shall we?
yes.
What's your favorite movie about or significantly involving a bridge? This comes to us from frequent viewer and contributor Leia.
Hi Leah, can you repeat the question just because please repeat the question.
For those of us, including Phil, who were not paying attention 30 seconds ago, what's
I was
your...
paying attention. I just think it really needs to be stated twice.
Fair enough. No, it's fair. That's fair. I do love how weirdly specific this question is. What's your favorite movie about or significantly involving a bridge.
Sure. Bridges of Madison County.
Really?
No. Clearly not.
I was making a list of all the ones I was
Dude.
considering. I was making a list of all the ones I'm considering, and I made a special point on the list to say, but not Bridges of Madison County. I was like I'm going to take time out of my life to point out what I'm not going to choose.
I have 3 movies in my heart, and I'm going to have you list your movies that you have on your list and things you want to say, and then I will see if you hit my 3 movies.
Okay. Well, I mean the easy and just obvious answer, because it's right in the title, Bridge on the River Kwai.
Okay.
It is.
Haven't seen it yet on my DVR.
Oh, yeah,
I'm in the top 100 AFI, so I'll be watching it at some point.
I'm so excited for you. I thought about several. I thought about It's a Wonderful Life, because it's not about a bridge, but it certainly takes place largely on a bridge. I thought about all the shots and all the stuff that happens on the Brooklyn Bridge and Verrazano Narrows and Saturday Night Fever. I thought about actually, you spoke about Robert Altman. One of the few Robert Altman movies that I unabashedly love, McCabe and Mrs. Miller. There's that awesome shootout on the bridge.
Okay.
And Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But what I'm going with, it's actually a movie and its remake. I'm choosing the remake as well because the first one's a French movie, and I know you hate me. It's a movie called Wages of Fear, a 50s movie that is unbelievably intense. And then its remake, Sorcerer, made by William Friedkin, the same director in the same decade who did The Exorcist and The French Connection. And no one talks about Sorcerer because it's like, no one director can make 3 movies in one decade that are this good. I don't know why they don't talk about it. It is unbelievably intense. Basically, and I'm just going to leave it here and then I'll kick it to you and you can tell me what your list is. Both movies involve driving basically a truck with no shocks, filled with nitroglycerin, over rough terrain and mountain bridges.
I respect that.
It is like you're like for the entire runtime. It's absurd. So that's what I got for you.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So many good bridge scenes.
So many.
It's such a good symbolism. It's such good symbolism.
Agreed.
My favorite movie poster with a bridge on it is the Manhattan movie poster.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Oh.
My favorite movie with a bridge in it or important stuff. You didn't say any of them, shockingly, but that's great. That's fantastic. Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
You're welcome. Okay, that's one of them.
Okay.
Apocalypse Now is not actually a significant part of the movie, but is for some reason, to me, when you watch Apocalypse Now, there's a point where the movie goes from just sort of a war movie, and that is from the beginning to the end. Apocalypse Now is a different kind of movie, and from the beginning to end, it's a war movie that is of its own piece. But when they get to the bridge, everything becomes incoherent.
Yes.
And I don't actually mean that the movie is incoherent. I just mean the world all of a sudden, black is white, up is down, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Indeed.
In that moment.
Well, it's what everything's building towards, right? I mean, in a movie that's about war is madness, you're finally getting to...
but then they haven't even gotten to where they're going yet.
Right, right.
Everything after that space, it's a great way to think about a bridge in a movie, because a bridge is a bridge. Like I said, symbolically powerful. You cross a bridge and get to the other side, and something happens. But they're not actually trying to cross this bridge. They're not trying to get from one side to the other of the bridge. They kind of go under the bridge, and they kind of stop at the bridge to see what's going on. And then you see what's going on at this bridge, which is basically one side takes the bridge, and then the next side stops them and then takes it back, and it's just back and forth forever. And it's the symbolism of the bridge and everything about, it's not even them trying to cross the bridge, they're going under it, and then everything that once they go under it and are on the other side of it, even though it's not from one side to the other, gulp, 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 gulp. Once they get to the other side, it's maddening. It's an amazing Apocalypse Now. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then the third one, I think, is The General, which is a Buster Keaton movie. And here's what I will say about the bridge. It is not a significant. It is not the whole movie.
No.
But I would say that this thing, Buster Keaton shot a film in which he destroyed a bridge, and it was actually them destroying a bridge with an actual train. And I think that one single shot, they did it in one shot because it was a long shot of a bridge. I'm not. I don't. You're not going to be like, oh, he ruined the movie for us. Of a train going over a bridge, the bridge exploding and the train falling into a ravine. You know how they accomplished this stunt? By driving a train over a bridge and then exploding the bridge and then dropping it into a ravine while filming it from far away. That single shot cost $100,000 and made that movie the most expensive movie to date, and made that scene, that was the single most expensive scene in the history of film for a very, very long time.
Awesome.
And so it's kind of phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
I also want to say, when you talked about William Friedkin and people say he can't possibly make 3 great movies in one decade, this is sort of what happened to Coppola when Coppola made Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and then the same year that he made Godfather 2, he made a movie called The Conversation. That if you're not a film buff, if you're our age and you're not a film buff, you just haven't heard of The Conversation.
Right.
Which is ridiculous, because
it might
the only reason you haven't heard of it is because it's the second best movie that Coppola made that year.
Right.
Which means
might
it's
be
probably
Gene
the second
Hackman's
best
performance. Like it's up there. It's up, and I realize how absurd that statement is on its face, but it might be. It is that he is that good in it. Yeah. No, totally. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but yeah, no, absolutely.
No, you hit it. It is, and that has nothing to do with bridges. But you got me when you said this guy Friedkin made 2 great movies, and so no one knew what to do with him. Right. Coppola made 3 of the greatest movies in American history in a 2.5-year time span.
Yes.
And then about 3 years later, he made Apocalypse Now, and there's a reason why nothing he's done since has been any good, because it was like, save some for later, buddy.
Right.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
He does make pretty good wine.
I'm so glad you said it, because I was gonna. It really is that thing where I'm like, well, at least he makes wine now.
At least amen. I don't make wine. So there you go, Leia. Bridges. There you go.
Are there other bridge movies we should be thinking about?
Oh, I'm sure there are a ton, but none that come to mind. Let's move on. We can revisit bridge movies, that extraordinarily important subgenre, bridge movies, in a later mailbag.
The only perhaps. 007 movie the first 007 movie I ever saw was A View to a Kill, and that the climax is on the Golden Gate Bridge, I believe.
Okay.
Unless it's not. Unless I made that up.
I'm not going to not believe you. I got nothing for you. I've seen it, but it's been years and years and years. I remember it not at all. Third question. From Keith. Each of you, I am sure, has a movie character or movie line impression that you believe to be particularly spot on. Do that impression or make your counterpart do it, please. He does ask nicely. Here's
the thing. Andy brought this question up a while back, and I have not wanted to do it because I don't actually believe myself to be good at any impressions. And the impressions that I do are from things that everybody already does. But I will say this. I have a buddy, one of my best friends in the entire universe, named Wes. I can't tell you how much I love Wes. And Wes and I grew up in moviedom together. We were in high school, and we were watching all these things together. And he was into De Niro in a way, and he basically got me into De Niro, which I know it's silly, but someone's got to teach you. He also, just so you understand the magnitude of Wes in my life, he introduced me to Bob Dylan.
Oh, holy crap!
Yeah,
okay.
No, I mean.
No,
he had an extra ticket to a Dylan show. He had an extra ticket to a Dylan show in '96, and I was like, I'm a Beatles guy. I don't know anything about Dylan, and I've never seen him. He goes, listen, this guy bailed on me. I'm gonna eat the ticket if you don't come with me. Just come. You don't even have to pay, because I'm gonna have to pay for it anyway. Just so I don't drive up to. We were living in New Hampshire. Portland, Maine. He goes, I don't want to drive to Portland by myself. Just come to the show. What are you gonna not go to the show? And I was like, all right, I'll go. Right. And I left that. I left that, and I was like, well, now I'm a Bob Dylan fan.
Sure.
So that happened.
Awesome.
So he did that for me. Okay, so he and I, quote, would just do Goodfellas back and forth, and it's just like, it's all De Niro. You insulted him a little bit, you got a little out of line yourself. That all just all you insulted him a little bit, insulted him a little bit, got a little out of line yourself. And then the other one from that would be the hoof, which is just they're talking about the what do you call a deer's paw, and someone's like, what is it, the paw, the claw, and he goes the hoof. And then I'm trying to think if there's other De Niro lines in that movie because we just quote that all the time. And then we started quoting the SNL version of it was Alec Baldwin and John Goodman doing De Niro quotes back and forth to each other, both doing De Niro impressions. And then one of them just goes, "Marvin's room." That's the quote because he was in Marvin's room. Marvin's room, and so we do that like for no reason. But insulted him, nah. You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of line yourself.
Awesome. I love it. I do.
So that's what I got. What do you got for me?
Well, here's what I got for you. And this is a blast from the past because as I believe most of our viewers know, I believe we've said it at least once. Phil and I met in college, and these movies came out right at the end of high school for us, and during college, and the thing that I would do is I really liked at least the first Austin Powers movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
as well you should have.
Yes, and I just loved Dr. Evil. And I thought I did a pretty good job of it.
You did a great Dr. Evil impression.
To the point where I actually did his childhood monologue from the first one where Carrie Fisher is the therapist for an audition for a faculty-directed play. And it picture if you will, and a homosexual Santa Claus, basically, sitting there, regal.
That guy hated me.
Judging me and saying...
Gay Santa Claus hated me so much, I can't even tell you.
What will you be doing for me today? And it's like, well, I will
Wait, stop. Just so you guys know, he would sit back like this. Oh.
What will you be doing for me today? And I said, well, I'm not doing something from a play. I'm doing something from a movie. It's from Austin Powers. I'm doing Dr. Evil. And he's like, I'm familiar with the movie. And I was like, this is already going so poorly.
What a terrible idea. But you got in the play, so whatever.
I did. I got in the play.
He never cast me in anything.
I'm not going to do the childhood monologue because not quite family friendly. But I did. I do enjoy doing Dr. Evil. Scott, you just don't. I can't do it if you're laughing.
Okay,
Scott, you just don't get it. You don't. And then of course when all of his plans, like, how about we do this? Oh, that's already happened. How about we do this? Oh, that's already happened too. Let's just do what we always do. Hijack some nuclear weapons, hold the world hostage. Yeah, good.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I'm actually lightheaded. The trip back in time to college has actually made me lightheaded.
That's great. He taught a class on comedies and American comedy films. He taught a class, American comedy films, which is where I saw a lot of the stuff we talk about.
Nice.
Wherein he actually made the statement, a couple things he said that I would fight him openly in class. I couldn't, and I think this is one of the reasons he didn't like me.
Sure.
Is he said Frank Capra. Frank Capra films are like junk food, whereas Preston Sturges is like a fine meal. So first of all, and I said, well, here's the problem, because he talked about the movie Sullivan's Travels, which is a famous comedy, and I said, here's the problem with Sullivan's Travels as far as it being a comedy. It's not funny. So you can say anything you want about Frank Capra making It Happen One Night and now it's just candy, except that it's funny.
You're right.
I was furious, and also like I'd like to pretend that I'm less angry now about it, but that may not be the case. You channeled college, and now I'm channeling college.
Sure.
The other thing he said, he just emphatically and categorically said, well, the thing about Gene Wilder is that he's not a funny actor.
Oh.
And I was just like, and I said, and I just raised my hand and I was like, well, I clearly take issue with that statement. And he was like, why? And I was like, because Gene Wilder's funny. And he goes, based on what? And I go, no, this is what he said. He goes, based on what? And I go, based on the fact that I laugh when he does things. This is an actual exchange we had in class in front of other people. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. When he grabs Zero Mostel in producers and goes, "You fat, fat, fat. You fatty, fat, 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 fat." When he stands there in Blazing Saddles and goes, "See this hand? Steady as a rock. Yeah, but this is my shooting hand."
Right? Or in Young Frankenstein, where he tells them not to let him out, and he's like, "Let me out, let me out,
get me out, get me the hell out of here! Don't you people know a joke?" No, I think he's a genius. I think Gene Wilder's a genius, and that guy drove me nuts for saying that. They want to. I do a really good Young Frankenstein impression, by the way.
Professor, you don't get it. You just... Do you? You don't.
You know, it was such a funny thing, guys, because he did these things like he would translate this old Russian play himself. He'd go find some Russian play from the 1800s and translate it, or he would find some ancient Greek play and translate that and then put that on as a play. And I guess from an academic standpoint, that must have been a really amazing thing, like, to do. I mean, he's a scholar.
Yeah.
I was a high school teacher, and I saw these kids were reading a book, and it was translated by him. Like, the one that the school was...
Cool.
Right, so he's a big deal.
No, that's cool.
But I didn't actually ever enjoy the plays that he did. But what was funny was it was still I didn't. But here's the thing, and I hated that class. It made me so mad. He got me mad on a regular basis. But here's the thing, right? Like, he was a faculty member who put on shows, and so I auditioned for them.
Yeah. It's what you do. It's what you do when you're an actor in college.
And it legitimately breaks my heart. And it legitimately breaks my heart that I didn't get into any of them, even though I didn't end up liking the shows.
Sure.
And even, I mean...
That's fair. No, that's totally fair.
Because that's college. That's the reality of life, is you try out for something you don't care about because you think you're supposed to, and then you don't get in it and you feel bad about yourself.
Indeed.
And if you're not an actor, you still know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I didn't get that job. Did you want that job? That's not the point. Why wouldn't they want me?
That's right. That's right.
Like a girl, the girl turned me down. You didn't really like that girl. Yeah, but why would she turn me down? You know, like, this is how we live.
This is actually, viewers, this is actually a conversation I feel like we had in college, like, numerous times.
This is amazing. Also say that we just got, and I take complete and utter blame for this, way off topic.
Way off. It's all right. It's all right.
Way off topic. I mean, we were talking about movie impressions.
That's true.
I also love Dennis Hopper in Apocalypse Now. You can't go to the moon with fractions, man. It's all whole numbers, man. Integers. You can't just like a guy. You either love him or you hate him.
Keith,
I love Dennis Hopper in that movie.
Keith, do you see what you've done? Do you see what you've done here?
Line.
Yeah, no, I do too.
You can't land on the moon with fractions is the greatest. You can't land on the moon with fractions, man.
To sum up, we are as goofy as we were in college. You should all see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles post haste. See it this Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with someone you love. Enjoy it with someone you hate. They'll become someone you love.
Can I say one last thing?
Please do.
I really need us to watch this before we air it, because I kind of blacked out for some of that, and I really want to make sure that there was never a point when I just showered obscenities. I can't guarantee that I was PG the entire time. I don't remember. Like, there's moments of what just happened that I don't recall.
I'll tell you this. It was so intense for me. I think I blacked out at times as well. Guys,
you can't channel that. You can't channel that going into an audition feeling and then not be totally affected by it.
It's true, guys. This has been another Second Breakfast viewer mailbag. This will be it for the week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for Project Melway, but there won't be any new content on Thursday or Friday. Try to survive the long weekend without us. We hope you enjoyed this mailbag. We had a blast. Kate, Leia, and Keith, thank you so much for writing in. These were awesome questions.
They were.
Yeah, share us on Facebook and other social media platforms. Hit us back in the YouTube comments, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.